AI for standing up for my son after he told his teacher to fuck off and walked out of class? I just learned this place on Reddit existed, and after hearing so many mixed reactions from family, I figured it wouldn't hurt to ask. This happened over a month ago, but it's still getting brought up by my sister-in-law, who's a teacher, and other family members. The reactions have been really mixed, so I figured I'd throw it to Reddit. My son was 17 at the time and finishing up his senior year. He's had an IEP for most of his life due to learning challenges. For those who don't know, an IEP is basically a plan that gives kids with learning disabilities extra support in school and helps even the playing field. His final semester, he had an algebra teacher who was, to put it plainly, terrible. My son has never been great with math, but this was the first time I truly felt like the teacher was the issue. She was rude, unhelpful, and constantly unpleasant. Throughout the semester, I spoke to other parents, and they all confirmed similar stories. This teacher is known for being petty, vindictive, and just generally disliked. Early in the semester, she told my son he couldn't use a calculator during a test, even though his IEP specifically states that he can. I had to step in and get that fixed immediately. She wasn't happy about it, but that's the law. She regularly humiliated kids in class for falling behind. She even talked about another student's IEP in front of the class, which led to that student getting bullied. She vented about her personal life and pregnancy constantly, to the point that students started tuning her out. She denied students the bathroom pass for no reason, even when they were completely done with their work. She rescheduled a quiz to interfere with senior skip day just out of spite. She clearly had favorites, and if she didn't like you, she'd ignore your questions or answer with an attitude. My son plays soccer, and she seemed to have something against student athletes in general. At one point, she moved my son to the back of the classroom, even though his IEP requires him to be seated up front. Again, I had to step in to get that corrected. Now, here's what actually happened. The week before finals, my son asked to use the bathroom during class. He had finished all his work. She told him no and said she was pregnant and didn't feel like handing out the bathroom pass. That was her actual reason, which both she and the vice principal confirmed to me later. At that point, my son had had enough. He had already gotten into college, was passing the class, and just wanted to be done with high school. He was burned out and tired of being treated unfairly. He asked, "What the hell does you being pregnant have to do with me using the bathroom?" She told him to sit down, and he said, "Fuck off. Either I go to the bathroom or I whip it out and piss on your desk," and walked out. She called security, had him picked up in the bathroom, and sent to the office. She pushed for him to be suspended and banned from walking at graduation. I didn't punish him at home. Was it the right thing to say to a teacher? No, absolutely not. But he was turning 18 just a few days later and had clearly hit his breaking point. We didn't see much value in piling on more consequences. This teacher had been testing his patience all semester. His father and I did sit him down and told him that while standing up for yourself is important, saying something like that to a boss or a professor won't fly in the real world. We agreed that he could have gotten his point across without saying what he did. I also met with the vice principal and the teacher. The teacher was defensive, and the VP looked annoyed and almost embarrassed when she explained her reason for denying the bathroom pass. He even rolled his eyes at one point. After that meeting, the VP decided he would get 3 days of after-school detention, be allowed to walk at graduation, and would be required to write a letter of apology to the teacher. I had mixed feelings about the apology and the amount of days of detention. My son was pretty upset that I didn't push for a lighter punishment, but honestly, at that point, I just wanted to keep the peace and get him through graduation. So, yeah, some of my family, especially my sister-in-law, think I handled this completely wrong and should have punished him regardless of the teacher's behavior. Others think I did the right thing by standing up for him and not adding more stress when the school was already dealing with it.